Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Waypoint's Media Club. Today, we're going to be discussing the Pokemon Presents from August 18th, 2021. Joining me today is Alec Bobko.
Hello.
And Austin J. Ernst.
That is me. Hello.
All right, guys. So we had the Pokemon Presents the other day, and just before we get into the details and stuff, any just regular generic thoughts? What did you think of it as a presentation?
I personally think the Pokemon Presents are always a little better than the Directs. Just like on an average scale, I feel like on average the Pokemon Presents will be a little bit better than the average Direct. The Direct had more highs, I think, but I think like as an overall performance or conference, I think they're usually better than the Direct, and I think that still stands here.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Definitely, they're more consistent, and then I think going into this, when you're like, we're not getting any new announcements, we're just kind of getting. They're finally saying something about the Diamond and Pearl remakes and Legends Arceus because we have not heard about them since they were revealed back in February.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Alec, any other thoughts?
I'll say it was a solid presentation. Kind of just encompass their free-to-play games. The Switch games are coming up. I'm surprised, personally, they're launching so close to each other.
Yeah, that is like
what, mid-November and late January?
Yeah, so basically it's like you get 2.5 months, I'll say, roughly.
Basically, a little over 2 months.
Yeah, so just barely 2 months of having to, complete everything you wanna do in Sinnoh before you have to go to Sinnoh again, but, like, in the past.
Yep.
I do think this is the closest any 2 Pokemon games have released, let alone 2 Pokemon games that are this big. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna go through every release they've ever had, but, like, it's not like they're releasing a mystery dungeon or another side game, like, 2 months later. It's another full-fledged game as far as we know.
Yeah. Which,
Sure.
come on. Breath of the Wild, but with Pokemon. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I get why people are saying that. It is like the Breath of the Wild of the Pokemon franchise, and like it's a big step, but I think that we
Yeah.
shouldn't expect the map density to be what Breath of the Wild was, or for there to be as much content as was actually in Breath of the Wild.
Right. It's basically going to be what X and Y were when they went 3D.
Yeah.
The first
in my
step.
mind, it's just going to be one more step up from Sword and Shield in the wide open areas. It's just going to be like another evolution of that, in my mind at least.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think
Just
it's going to be open everywhere.
As I just don't connect to the internet.
Yeah, I do think like the thing that's getting me about Legends so far is that it is like a side game with the mechanics of a full game, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All the other side games have been very different. Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Rangers, Pokemon Snap.
Conquest.
I think those are like the Conquest. Yeah, Conquest was a crossover. It was a tactical strategy game.
I've heard good things about that game, but I do think it's worth mentioning that I feel like there hasn't been as much. I just sneezed. I don't know if you heard it. There hasn't been as much like hype around those side games as this one's getting, and rightfully so because this one has
Yeah.
potential to be like everyone is saying it's cliche at this point, but this looks like it could be at the very least a step in the right direction towards that dream we had when playing these as kids.
Yeah. We can hold off on those for now because I have a lot more to say about like what the game might be.
Oh, yeah.
But in the beginning of the direct actually was a surprise to me because they originally said, listen, it's gonna be Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, it's gonna be Legends Arceus. But they did spend the first 5 to 10 minutes on some of their side free to play games. So Pokemon Unite, which launched late last month, is now coming to mobile September 22nd. Any thoughts on that, guys? Have you guys played Unite yet?
Yes, I've played quite a bit of it, but I've gotten a few matches in. I think I'm like level 8 or 9, something like that. So I've gotten enough to unlock, some of the quick matches and all that, and it's just a blast. I've been playing. I think I've mainly been maining Talonflame, and there's a couple matches where I couldn't pick that, so I can't remember who. It's been a while since I have played it, so I think I picked Ninetales after that when I couldn't pick Talonflame. But yeah, both those characters are fun. It's a baby's first MOBA, so I really enjoyed it. What I did play of it.
What about you, Austin?
Yeah, I played like 5 or 6 matches simply because it's a Pokemon game,
Mhm.
and I quickly realized this game is just not made for me. Like, it's the gameplay is very boring to me. Like MOBAs have always been very boring to play for me personally. I understand the elements of strategy and all that. They're just not made for me. They're just
Yeah.
not made for me
Mhm.
as a game player. But I thought the game performed well. It looked cool. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
As long as you
I
have it
mean,
docked, because they have a little FPS counter in the corner.
yeah, and the FPS counter came in very handy and basically told me if there's more than 5 Pokemon on screen doing attacks, those frames are gonna fucking drop.
I
I
did
pl
play docked
Yeah,
for the
so
record.
did I.
That's the word.
I played it the day after it came out. I got, I did enough to like squad up with people. I actually played with some friends of the show. I played with Mitch from Press YYZ and Kumail from Poke Ramble. And like that was a fun experience. How much the game was fun versus just mashing buttons while talking with some friends is fun is a blur. I thought the movement is very slow, and that's what annoyed me. Is like these Pokemon just
Yeah,
move very slowly. I'm not a MOBA guy, but I like how this plays. I personally wish that type effectiveness still mattered though. Not in the
I think it
I feel like
does a little bit.
I heard it doesn't. So I don't know if
Interesting.
that's changed. Maybe it was a misconception. I personally think that the way they should do it is actually do what Pokemon Go did, where nothing is immune and super effective is maybe 1.5 times rather
Mhm.
than double type of thing. So it is a little bit more any move you have is fine, but it can add a little bit of an element of like, oh, you're a fire type, I'm a water type, you go after that guy, I'll go after this guy type
Yep.
of thing, rather than just everybody just get to this guy and hit as many buttons as you can.
And then, I mean, call me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that type of balance, the 1.5 instead of 2, works better for this style of game. Because if you're just going in
Yeah,
and wrecking other characters, that doesn't seem like
that,
balance
yeah,
Yeah.
wise
that's
that
what I'm
would work.
saying. Especially because at the end of the day, like this isn't, it's not like a competitive Pokemon battle. You're picking your types very carefully. You're getting what you get, and they only have a limited roster to begin with. So I think just having type effectiveness matter, but not matter that much, I think would add a nice element into the game. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled about it. Like if a Pokemon I really like drops, I might pick up the game and, play around with them a bit. Like they keep showing Elekid in one of the loading screens. If we get the Elekid to Electivire line, I'm fucking jumping in for at least a whole day.
Is that your guy? Because I know you
That's
talked
my
about him a
guy.
lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like,
Like
if
it's
you were to start up with any starter Pokemon
right there. Yeah.
ever, or like
Right.
first
Yeah.
stage Pokemon,
It's right there. My
it,
little plushie of him.
sure, it'd be Alakid.
Yeah.
I go back and forth on who I would start with, but that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah, we could do that whole podcast on that.
Mhm.
But there was a few bonuses that I think if 2.5 million people register, they'll get a Pikachu, and then if it's 5 million, there's another bonus. Oh, the outfit for Pikachu.
Yep.
That's weird, right? That's a weird
But
thing.
if you think
I've
of
seen
how
that
many,
stuff done before.
yeah, I would say
Okay,
if you because that's a more of a mobile phone thing because like they get
sure,
pre-registers and all that, so
sure,
Yeah,
that makes
th-
sense.
they
and
got
like
I
me.
don't dabble
I
in that a
know
lot.
other games as a service has done like if 10 million people do this activity, like everyone gets rewarded or
This will
something.
unlock, yeah.
I mean, I've seen it in Pokemon Go. I've also seen it in Marvel's
Mhm.
Avengers. Not sure how great those examples are, but I'm not too big of a games as a service guy, so that's what I know. We also got news that Pokemon Cafe Mix is now Pokemon Cafe Remix, which
Oh,
I need to talk to the naming guys at the Pokemon company because like the
I like
remakes have always had pretty cool names, but they're like, what should we call this new Pokemon Snap? And they're like, boom, there, we got it.
it.
And then like, how do we remix Cafe Mix? Like, boom, it's the remix.
I love it. The
Yeah.
name alone, I'm all about it. I don't give a crap. I love
See,
it.
now I want the third iteration to be like remix parentheses radio edit.
No, it's just gonna be new.
Yeah, new Pokemon Cafe remix,
I love it.
definitive edition.
This is one of those games that I have downloaded on my Switch and I have not played yet.
I
I have
downloaded
no
it when
interest in this game.
I
I
downloaded it on my phone when it came out last year and played a few like levels of it, and it's like, not for
Yeah,
me.
it's another game that's not for me, but I can see myself giving it a go once in a while. Just to like I have 15 minutes or something,
Yeah,
just like let's do something. Something I
Hmm.
haven't played before. I want something new. I can see that.
yeah.
That's about it.
I've had no interest in this game. I'm like, it's cool. It's not for
Cool art
me, but
style.
like, yeah. And then we got some news about Pokemon Masters. Has anyone here dabbled in that? Plays it
I
regularly?
have not regularly, but I've dabbled in it. It's one of those games that it's like with that, and there's like a Dragon Ball Z game that's similar. I like to just get the cool characters.
Yeah.
They get me with the like, hey, we'll give you these free gems, and I try to pull a cool character or two every now and then. It is a really fun game though. Like it's literally just the Pokemon battle system, just in a mobile game.
Maybe I gotta go back to it. So I tried it when it first dropped, like around the weekend it first came out. I had like a
Mhm.
long bus ride and I was like, boom, I know what I'm doing. Let me check this out. And it
Mhm.
just couldn't hold my attention. I think something that upset me about the gameplay was like, oh, they're like, hey, what's your name? And like design, I don't think got a bunch of
Mhm.
characterization, but like then there was no starter. They were just like, no, you have a fucking Pikachu and you get it.
Yep.
And like, so
Yep.
this isn't really my story. And then the other
But
Pokemon, it's more
you don't actually have to use your character, so you can just use 3 random trainers.
that's the other thing that also kind of annoyed me for some reason. I wasn't sure
I
why.
usually
It
just
just
skip through all the story stuff and just get to the battles.
maybe that's what I got to do is just not focus of like the story stuff and just be like, who are the actual Pokemon I want? Whoever's standing behind them, I couldn't
Yep.
give a rat's ass type of thing. But
Mhm.
I'm sure it's also changed a lot because they said it's the 2-year anniversary. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think what happened was
Talk
when
to
the
Kumail, he knows a lot about that game.
yeah. I think what happened was when I saw it announced in the direct in 2019 or the presents in 2019. I had a
Mhm.
different expectation for this game in my head, which is totally my fault, 100%. But the way
Mhm.
it was marketed, I was like, "Oh man, this is like a Pokemon mobile battle game," which it technically is, but not the
Mhm.
way I personally thought it would be. And then what we got they're gonna be celebrating some anniversaries for Pokemon Go, which is now in its 5th year. God damn, it's been that
Crazy.
long. They said that the Pokemon from Galar are gonna be appearing. I have not been as consistent with Pokemon Go as I used to be. I used to be all on that shit, in, like, January-ish, I started
Mhm.
falling off. Have Alola Pokemon already gotten in the game? Like, are we that far along? Because when I, like,
I
was
don't
last
know.
playing, Kalos Pokemon were just getting in.
Yeah, I haven't played in a while, but, I played the weekend I was in Columbus with Chris just because I happened to see a notification come across my screen that EV Community Day, so I got a bunch of those just sitting in my hotel.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I couldn't say. But this
because I know the
honestly,
regional forms have
yeah.
been out for a while.
I haven't played
Yes.
in 2 years, so
Ah, buddy.
Yeah, this didn't really
Yeah.
pull me in to keep me playing. I mean, Galar's cool, but like it's only a few Pokemon from Galar. It's not like the entire Pokedex.
Yeah, it was, like, 3, but that's usually how it starts. I think they're also
Gotcha.
doing, like, wormhole events to get Zamian and Zamazenta, who are the box legendaries from Sword and Shield, respectively. I actually don't cross out that respectively. I have no idea if I've listed them in the right order there. um, and then I think Palkia and Dialga are coming back in some raids.
hmm I know they had
So
a
the
tease for
wormhole,
Hoopa too.
yeah. They basically said that whatever, like the story stuff as to behind why these raids are coming back has to do with Hoopa. So it's fun to see them bring that Pokemon back because like it was so big when it was first announced and it just kind of
Yeah.
disappeared. But the real meat and potatoes of this direct was
Oh
some
yeah.
news and trailers for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and then a deeper dive into Pokemon Legends Arceus, which, contrary to what a lot of people thought, has not been delayed. They're still sticking with that January 28th release date.
yeah, that's surprising to me. But I do, Jordan. I'm
hmm
gonna let you go off a little bit because I haven't played the originals of these games.
Same.
Were these games always like way ahead of the curve when it comes to like Pokemon following you around and having your own little base and stuff like that?
So the Pokemon following you was not a thing in Diamond and Pearl, except
Okay.
in one location in one city, but they only allowed, and this is the word of the end. They're like, we're only allowing cute Pokemon to follow you. And it was like a very small amount. And then in Platinum, they just added all the starters and their evolutions to that list. But Heart Gold Soul Silver, which was like the one that really brought the following Pokemon in, because before that it was just yellow and it was only the Pikachu following you, was the same generation. So maybe that's what they're taking inspiration from.
hmm
You know what's crazy? Like 10-second side tangent. Pokemon Gold is like one of my favorite games ever. Like it's in my top 3, and I have not played Heart Gold.
Oh, dude. Like, I have
Dude.
trouble finishing through those games because the EXP curve is a lot because you're doing 16 gyms and 2 Elite Fours and all that.
Mm.
But there is
Mhm.
so much content packed into those games that, like, if you find a ROM hack where they've also made it so that there's no version exclusives and that you can still trigger all the, like, events that they used to have with, like, Celebi and all that stuff, the Giovanni story, like, go and do it. Like, you can
Yeah,
sink
I want
you
a
can sink
re-release on Switch.
100 plus hours into those games alone.
Yeah, it's one of my
Like,
wish list ones
Mhm.
for Switch. Like, I just please, for the love of God, give me that game.
but yeah, so and then as for the secret bases thing, I don't remember. Like, I know the
Mm.
underground was a thing. The underground was totally a thing,
I know
100%.
that was
Not and
Gen 4.
but I personally don't remember if the secret bases were a thing in the underground before. I know they were obviously in the 3rd gen games.
Yep. That's where they started, yeah. It was
Yeah,
Gen 3.
I'm starting to think that there were secret bases, but my mind might be doing that thing where it's just convincing me.
Mhm.
I know what you mean. Yeah, how you envisioned it, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Similar, at least.
Yeah.
So Jordan,
Yes.
is their art style growing on you at all?
So I found the best way to explain my opinion on this.
Okay.
The graphics are not bad.
Hmm.
I just don't
Mhm.
like the art style because I do think that
Okay,
graphics and art style are a very different thing.
I agree.
Mhm.
Every time I look back, I'm like, maybe they've grown on me because there's a lot of things in design that have grown on me throughout any franchise in history. Still, fuck no. I've also just made the concession of like, I'm gonna still fucking play them.
Oh, 100%. To me,
Yeah,
Pokemon has never been about graphics or how it looks
Right.
or anything. It's about the world you're living in and freaking training a team of Pokemon because Pokemon are
okay.
it's just amazing.
So sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Secret bases were a thing in the Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum Underground, but you had to receive something from some NPC. So it's possible that I had heard about it through the grapevine, but just never got that item
Mm,
and never made
gotcha.
my own secret base. But
That makes sense.
what they are adding to the underground this time is depending on the statues you put in your secret base, different Pokemon will appear. And this new extension of the underground, which I forget what word they're using for. Let me see if I could find it.
Pokemon hideouts or hideaways, something like
Hideouts,
that.
hideaways. Yeah.
They probably zoomed into it randomly on the on the trailer or whatever.
Yeah, that's one thing I do wanna say, that editing on the trailer where they just zoomed into random text
It was
was
funny.
a
It
choice.
was weird.
I didn't find it as funny as kind of funny, but like it was funny.
Yeah.
It was
Dude,
weird
I
and
almost
like
died laughing watching their reaction to
here's the
that.
thing.
100%.
Like Alex, if you rewind like 10 seconds, like these
Yep.
lines make sense of like the welcome to the world of Pokemon, your
Mhm.
grand tales about to unfold. Like those are in every game. You hear them, you read them every
Right,
time. I get
yeah.
that. But then all those other lines coming out that
Like
like
the yeah.
weren't iconic lines by any means.
100%. To
And
bring it
nor
back,
were they
sorry.
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say, like, they're not like lines that like are about Sinnoh or about the story. They're just like the most
Mhm.
generic lines.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. To bring it back to the art style real quick though, I do think that it was such a smart choice to put the battles in like the style that they're in
oh,
rather
Oh,
thank
than
yeah.
God.
yeah.
Yes.
It's like that in my mind again, I don't care about the chibi art style that it works for me, it's fine. But in my mind this
Mhm.
kind of saves it in a way where it's just like at least you're not looking at this whole time if it's not vibing with you.
Be
Yep.
honest, I think that it actually would have been more work for them to make the graphics, to make the battle graphics the same, because I think they're probably just
Oh,
using
yeah.
variations of models from Sword and Shield.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
Ilka
Mhm.
Games, which is developing this game, they made Pokemon Home, so they've already made models for all 900 fucking
Mhm.
Pokemon. So I think it actually would have been harder for them to make like 900 sprites if they were going to keep it 2D.
Sure.
Honestly,
The
almost looks
contests
like
are a thing in this gen as well. Sorry,
I remember playing contests like be the cutest or be the strongest or something. I don't remember what it
that
was,
was
you
but
Gen
I don't know
3.
what it was in.
yeah, it did start in Gen 3, continued on to Gen 4, and like with Gen 4, the contests were way more in depth. And in the
Oh,
anime,
really?
Dawn, the main girl that is like, like the NPC or the playable characters are always characters in the anime. Dawn, the girl option character in this game, in the anime, her whole thing is she's a Pokemon contest person. She's not a Pokemon trainer.
Oh.
So she, like, there's scenes where she battles and whatnot, but like she has a
Right.
Piplup that she doesn't evolve because the point is that she's keeping it as a Piplup for the contest. So Gen 4 for contests was like where it really strived. I think the secret base thing has more stuck in the mind of like that's more of a Gen 3 thing.
Mhm.
But I think it's cuteness, toughness, coolness,
Hmm,
and beauty. I
that
could
sounds
be
right.
That
wrong.
sounds
That sounds
right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also fun fact.
Maybe like a
one of-
smart contest too. I wanna say.
maybe. So
Maybe.
when I was playing these games as a kid, because you get to choose like which move you want to do the judges or you want to perform for
Yep.
which judge. I would always select what I thought was myself. Turns out one of the judges was just named Jordan.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh yeah, no, it's me. Like your character, your NPC or your playable character becomes one of the judges. So why wouldn't I perform for myself?" And then I'm looking at my friend's screen. I'm like, "Do you perform for yourself?" He's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Whoa, what?" It was the biggest mind fuck I had in a while.
Whoa, what? Little Jordan just like, whoa!
Yeah.
That's funny.
But the more I look at the art style, I think the thing that bothers me the most is the character sprites more so than the overworld. The overworld is doable,
Hmm.
but it's the character sprites are still what I'm not happy with. But at this point, I'm more over it rather than it's grown on me.
I
Mhm.
still think you're gonna love this game. I really do. I think.
Oh,
you're
dude,
gonna fall for it.
I'm gonna dump so many fucking hours into this game, and like it comes out right around the time that I'm probably starting up like a second course for school or whatever. But fuck it, like
It's funny.
yeah. But any
I'm
other
s-
thoughts on? What were you
I
gonna
was
say,
just gonna say, I'm being that Legends Arceus is so close. I'm kind of debating. I might because Gen 4's never really vibed with me. Like I've played through the first few gyms and it's just I've always put it down, I never
Well, that's
went
what I was
back
about
to
to
it.
ask. If this is
So
gonna kind of get any of you into playing through these games for the first time.
it's one of those games like if I'm it's not like I said, I've tried it multiple times and Gen 4 is just doesn't matter if it's diamond or platinum or diamond, pearl or platinum. Just those three games just for some reason haven't quite vibed with me. So it's
Was
gonna
there
be one of
ever a
those
reason?
like I don't know. It's just one of those like I just wasn't ever compelled to go back after kind of that first initial sitting, after
'Cause one of the biggest issues with Diamond and Pearl specifically, which they then fixed more in Platinum and really fixed with Heart Gold, Soul Silver, the speed of the games. Like they ran slow.
Mhm.
Your characters walked and ran slow. The text was slow. The HP bar was
Mhm.
slow. Like, and so
Maybe. Yeah.
that was a tough. And then okay, Platinum fixed that a bit, and then I think Heart Gold, Soul Silver really
Oh,
fixed
I
them
love Soul
more they got
Silver.
used to
That
the more they got used to the engine. So if you like hypothetically, if you were like to throw these on an emulator and just hold fast forward during the most of the gameplay,
well,
I
that's where
wonder
I
if that
played
would
them.
change your opinion.
Was
Oh,
it's just yeah. So like I said, something can't remember. It's been a
yeah,
while, but
it's all
yeah.
good.
So it's just
What
going
about
to
you,
depend on the
Austin?
funds at that situation. So
So two things. I just want quick answers. Shining Pearl or Brilliant Diamond? What are you getting? Alec, if you do buy the game, Shining Pearl or Brilliant Diamond?
Diamond.
Jordan?
Pearl, because that's the one I had as a kid, and apparently everyone else had fucking Diamond. Like this is like the one set of games where, and at least in my experience, has such a discrepancy between who bought which one.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm going Diamond. I always go with what sounds cooler to me, and that's my only
See,
reason.
I go,
That's
I
it.
go. My first playthroughs of Pokemon games, I choose to be like, I will be a child. Which version do I choose? Which one's got the cooler legendary? Which starter do I choose? Which one looks the coolest? Second playthrough, I'll actually be strategic and whatnot.
mhm.
And then I will be playing this game for the first time, and I am stoked to play it. By the way, I
Yeah.
honestly everything that I saw in the trailer really impressed me. Like I want to play it more than what I saw before. So
Yeah, Austin, I think you'll really dig these games. There were whispers of like, oh, are Mega Evolution coming back in these games? Or are we getting new forms? Because every remake has added something.
Mhm.
So far, we haven't heard anything about that. I think Mega Evolution would be an interesting one to bring back because this professor specifically studies Pokemon evolution.
That's
Like
true.
how each
Yeah.
professor has like a weird niche of Pokemon that they study. This one is focused on
Mhm.
Pokemon evolution. Um, and I feel like bringing back Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing would be weird because now you'd have to add these spots, what were they called? The power zones from
Yep.
Sword and Shield into this
I like that.
region.
Mhm.
Um, but the other thing is that so far, so there was a slight discrepancy with the Pokedexes between Pearl and Platinum. Platinum added a few other Pokemon in there, and then a couple new Pokemon came out. And we've seen some Pokemon that were only available in the Platinum decks. Porygon Z, Togepi, which obviously Gen 2 Pokemon, but just wasn't in the regular decks. You'd have to wait for the the national decks to get it in Diamond and Pearl. We see a Pokemon from Gen 5 or above in these games. Now, normally when people around the remakes of Pokemon go, so will this include Pokemon from the future gens? I yell at them because all of them have. But with this one branding themselves as a faithful remake, I'm now worried if we're not going to get anything past the 493 that we got
I
in Gen
think
4.
it would be
Doesn't bother
cool
me at
if
all.
yeah, it doesn't bother me. But I think it would be cool. Kind of, I can't remember which game it was, but they started you off with all the Pokemon from that generation, and then once you beat the Elite Four and got the national decks, that's when all Pokemon from every other generation populated.
That
WoW.
was Black and White, but Black and White was designed that way. In Diamond and Pearl, the Sinnoh Dex still has Pokemon that appeared in other regions before, like Medite and Medicham appear in the caves in Sinnoh, even though those are Gen 3 Pokemon, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be the most upset if Pokemon from Gens 5 through 7 or what are we at, 8 aren't in there. I just more be concerned about like the precedent that sends, personally.
Yeah.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm itching for some more Pokemon, and this is coming, and I am stoked.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I will get over the art style. I won't stop making jokes about it, though, but I make them in love.
Sure.
All right. But now, what we've all been waiting for, we got a deeper look at Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Arceus?
We got a Arceus, I think I've heard some people say.
All three are valid at this point.
Yep.
Yeah. So this was a real deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm loving what I'm seeing, performance side.
Yeah.
I think the performance looks better than it did in the original trailer, but I also had to rewatch that trailer multiple times to see performance issues, so I just don't tend to have an eye for that.
I don't tend to have an eye for it, okay, that's not true. I do tend to have an eye for it. I would just say that it doesn't usually affect me as much. Like, if I see dips here and there, I'm like, whatever. Especially for this style of game, well, that might be a caveat. To this style of game, usually Pokemon doesn't really matter all that much, but in this game, it definitely might.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're sneaking around and stuff, yeah.
I can notice when frame rates dip. I can't look at a game. Like, I can't just start looking and be like, that's 30 frames, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah. But so...
Yeah, the starters. Sorry, I keep interrupting. The starters.
Oh, no. Who are you guys picking?
Yeah, Cyndaquil, my boy. On this one. Yeah.
I think I'm going Rowlet, to be honest.
And I love that you're not going Cyndaquil, because I would hate for all of us here to be like, yeah, Cyndaquil.
Whichever one was the one when we were kids. Yeah.
Silver was my first Pokemon game, and Cyndaquil was my first starter. So,
and that's valid. That makes a lot of sense. That's the reason I'm also choosing Chimchar when I get Brilliant Diamond or Shining Pearl, both of them.
Sure.
Either one.
If I do get it.
The first time I played through Gold, I accidentally chose Totodile. I wanted Cyndaquil, but I chose Totodile on accident. And I could have, I just started. I could have just restarted, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll end up liking Totodile. I think he's fine. I was alright with his final evolution for Alligator or whatever.
Excuse me. Yeah, but so I like the 3 starters they chose here because they didn't put one Kanto starter in there, which made me happy. They didn't put one Galar starter in there, which means they're not just going, hey, we're going to also, make sure to kind of market the newest game as well.
Right.
They didn't put, and then they didn't put one Sinnoh starter in there to be like, oh, that's how it became the starter. Someone also pointed out that it's based off of, because it's based off feudal Japan, it's that Rowlet is based off an archer, Samurot's based off a samurai, and Cyndaquil represents fireworks. That's what someone explained to me. I don't know how accurate that is, because I remember in history class learning that fireworks came from the Chinese dynasties.
If that is true, Cyndaquil got the low end of the stick.
Yeah.
Samurai,
archer,
warrior,
samurai,
fireworks.
Not even the guy who runs the fireworks, the physical firework.
That's just funny.
Yeah. But no, I do think it's a fun mix of I'm going Rowlet because I'm personally someone who liked Sun and Moon to an extent. I get its flaws. But I originally chose Litten, which was the fire type in that game. Rowlet also came from that generation, and I think that one kind of won out the fan favorite of that generation. Sure. So I'm happy to play with him. And so we got a deeper look as what this game's going to be like. We did get a couple of we got one new form for Growlithe in this feudal Japan. Best boy Growlithe. rock added a secondary rock typing, which
So it's
just
gonna be
makes
quad weak to water
quad weak to water. So like,
Love
oof.
it.
And then
and
we got
ground too. I think, or is rock
yeah,
not weak to
yeah.
ground?
No, you're right. Quad weak to ground as well. Yeah.
So
Basically, if you just look up what Slugma's type effectiveness is, it's the same.
You
true.
can have him
And
in your party. It's fine.
I'll
You'll be
pet him.
fine.
Yeah. But just listen, you stay there. You're very fragile.
There's a bunch of things
Seriously,
that
a
I
drop
want
of water
to.
gets on him.
Yeah.
I do want to mention that the HUD in the bottom right corner looked. I don't know why that looks super cool to me. Just having your Pokemon's face there was like I was like, oh, that's dope. I like
Mhm.
that. I like the angle of the Pokemon going dark side or whatever. Like for some reason that works for
Yeah.
me.
I
And
want, I mean,
I just want to
yeah.
name drop this real quick so we don't forget about it. The turn-based thing, having like your speed or
The-
strength play into that, is so interesting to me. So I just want to get that on the table so we know we
Oh
talk
yeah,
about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just gonna hit on. So we got the new form, and then we got two new evolutions. We got an evolution of Basclodon, which is Basculegion, and holy shit, that backstory's dark on how it evolves.
yes.
Because
What is it again? I remember hearing it, but I don't remember what it was.
and I'm gonna quote it, but
It's like
the
soul.
narrator says this in like the most peppy, like
Calm.
nonchalant voice, where she's like, it gets possessed by the souls of the other fish in its school, and when they die, it possesses their souls and gets more powerful the more of them it possesses. And I'm like, Jesus Christ! And they just showed like this child writing it.
Right.
Hmm.
I will
Yeah.
say that while the name is way too long, it's kind of cool.
Basculegion. Yeah,
Basculegion.
It's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
yeah, because the previous evolution is Basculin.
Yes.
Basculin. Basculegion.
Yeah.
It's just too long of a word.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now what I wonder is, and those we also got an evolved form of Stantler, which is he has different antlers and he's got a lot more fur on him because it's like a
Northern
Stantler that
climate,
yeah was in a colder climate. So interesting that they chose to make this one an evolution and not just a regional variant.
I thought the same thing. Yeah, I was like, huh, that's a bit weird.
Although
But
Because
I
they
did
did make
hear
him like grow
something.
bigger too.
I did
Yeah.
hear something kind of cool. Is that they did say that Gen 4 gave a lot of Gen 2 starters evolutions that needed them. So kind of in that
Gen
same
4
boat.
gave a lot of other Pokemon evolution. They gave like you got Tangrowth, Electivire, Rhyperior, Yanmega,
Magmar.
Magmortar, Lickilicky. A lot of those were Gen 1, but then you also
Mhm.
got I think Nosepass came out in Gen 4, but
Gen 3.
Probass was a Gen 3 Pokemon.
Yep.
What a
Like yeah,
terrible name.
Yeah.
Nosepass.
And he's a
So
Yeah,
big.
because he's
It's
literally got a
literally
huge
big
nose with a
No, I
mustache.
know. I can picture it. I can picture it. Like purple body and the bright red
Yep.
nose. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's terrible design. And it's a terrible name, but it works.
It works.
And then they gave him nose hairs for his evolution.
But that they say are iron or shards of like iron that get stuck because they're magnetic.
Okay.
Yeah. But so now what I'm wondering is how are we going to access these evolutions and the regional variant in future games? Because like right now in like the in Sword and Shield, there is a way to still get the Galar type or the Galar variants in the game, because Sun and Moon still connect to Pokemon Bank, which connect to Pokemon Home, and then you can also get them in Pokemon Go, which connects. And the story makes sense because Alola's still good and kicking as far as we know.
Hmm.
These being so far in the past, I really wonder, are they just going to say, yeah, fuck it. It comes from the past and you have it now. Screw it. There's also a 10-year-old who owns God. So
They literally did say in the presentation that both of them will, in 2022, will be able to connect to Pokemon Home. So
no, and I know that, but I'm just saying like if there's going to be any sort of a lore reason, if it's going to make sense. And in the future, how are we going to get them? Or are
Nah.
these Pokemon locked to these games? That's the other thing is the future games.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, so then let's get to the bigger stuff. We met a little bit of the cast members and what the story is going to be, and we know that some of the
Mhm.
Pokemon are not going to fight other Pokemon; they're just going to straight up fight you.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I saw
literally a
there was a
Luxray just shocking you.
yeah, there was that meme going around with that video of like two people fighting and one's in a bear costume. You know that?
Yeah.
And it's just like me, and then like the dead of night fighting off Ursaring when he's gone berserk or whatever.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
The
But
blood moon
what I also
rises.
wonder is
Yeah.
if they knock out all the Pokemon, can I just choose to like get in it on myself? Be like, all right, I could get the last punch in.
I
Yeah,
got one good
Well,
punch in me. Come on, let's go.
like the Safari Zone in Gen 1, just throw a rock at him.
Yeah,
true.
that's morbid, but all
That's
right.
literally what they had you do.
I know. I'm aware. Yeah,
And
I like that angle.
yeah, and
Mhm.
so the change that Austin, you mentioned this to the turn-based system with you have it in agile mode or what was the other
Strong
one called?
style. It was agile
Strong
style.
style.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're both
Okay, yeah, I could
styles.
have came up with strong style. That just sounded wrong to me. And
Mhm.
choosing whether or not you
It
want
was
to
my
focus,
boy. Right on.
yeah, choosing on
That
whether or not you
is.
want to focus on the strength or the speed will determine rather than it having to go back and forth. Maybe you
Mhm.
get to do 2 turns in a row. Maybe you and that's gonna add a lot to the metagame. Sounds
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very fun for this game. Do you guys think it's a change that they're going to keep going forward, and would
No.
you like it?
I would like it.
Um, I want to
Um
experience it in practice first, for the record. But
mhm.
it's a change that as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, please give me that immediately!" Like, because the battle systems have always been. Sorry, I didn't mean to just interrupt you, Alec. But the battle
No
systems
worries.
have always just been like the same ish for the most part forever. And I know
Yeah.
there's a good reason for that. Like, there's a level of strategy there, and it's like it's the staple of the franchise. And I've always enjoyed like the battle system for the record. But like, I don't know, them introducing this, it worked for me. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Love it, yes, thank you."
Yeah.
Ye
I Go ahead, Alec.
yeah, I was just gonna say, because the first time I was ever introduced to a battle style like that, where you have can actually see the timeline of like who's gonna be attacking was, it was a Mega Man X Command Mission game for the GameCube. And I thought it was so cool being able to see like what different actions, how that affected who goes next and that kind of thing. Granted that you have an entire party, it's not just you attacking.
Yeah.
But it's cool having the different styles. So like if you know like, hey, if I can get just a couple quick hits in, I can change that to agile style and just get those couple quick hits in, or you do strong style, risk going a bit slower, but you're gonna get one heavy attack in.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm
But
with Austin where I kind of want to see this in practice. Um, it very much fits the theme of this because, like, having two different forms is a big thing in feudal Japan and samurais fighting. I mean, it's the whole point of Ghost of Tsushima with the two different
Mm-hmm.
fighting styles. I think it'd be really interesting if they were like, yeah, that's how battles went back then. But now the Pokemon League rules have it like this is how it goes. It's a one person, then you go, then one person.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's definitely going to be fun for a game to be like, oh, like this is kind of how like it goes either in your head as a kid or like when you see in the anime, like they don't follow those rules in the anime where it's like, oh, now I'm just going to stand here and hope that you miss. It's like, no, you get to judge, you get to do two things in a row if you can.
Mm-hmm.
It adds a liveliness to the battles, but I could also see it just completely breaking the meta because what's stopping you from being like, okay, I'll do the move in the fast mode, but I'll, line up two swords dance before I do it. So now I have fucking 4 times my power and strong mode doesn't even matter if I'm doing it at this point.
Right.
yeah, I think it adds another level of strategy, but I need to see it in practice first.
But
Yeah.
they did say that competitive play or ranked play will still be using Sword and Shield. They won't be using the remakes or this game. So
Mhm.
I
Which
think
And
that's a
was
hint as to that it probably won't be a main thing going forward. I think it's
I think it
just
depends on how it's received.
that could be
Honestly,
too.
I
Yeah.
think if people really like it, then that could come to
yeah.
rank stuff.
I al- uh I've never fully kept an eye on like the competitive scene. But I mean I play on Smogon a bit when I'm bored. So like I kind of get what that stuff is like. I wonder why they chose to like make that a point and be like, "Hey, by the way, I don't know if it has to do with something about Diamond and Pearl that we don't know yet. I don't know if it's because they want to keep focusing on Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing, and those won't be in Diamond and Pearl, or like if
Yeah.
the rumors are right and the Mega Evolutions are coming back, but they don't want that to be part of the meta. Legends Arceus 100% makes sense why, like, yeah, that's not going to be where the new competitive scene is. But I also don't know if the last time when Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire came out, if the 6th gen meta changed from X and Y to those, or maybe they just always go with the newest game or the newest like new games, not the
Mhm.
newest games.
I think they did, if I'm remembering right, but that's just because they didn't. It wasn't like Gen 3. They could still incorporate Mega Evolution into that, whereas
Yeah, like
Dynamaxing's kind of hard to work into a story that didn't have it
yeah, there was like no
originally.
difference in the game in the meta game between X and Y and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Or if I remember correctly, I think you were able actually to battle between both. Like if you had X or Y and someone
Potentially, I
else had
don't
Omega Ruby and
recall.
Alpha Sapphire, they were cool if you because they used the same
Mhm.
systems. I could be remembering that wrong. It just felt interesting to be like, this is where they're focusing, but it also might be more of a thing for Sword and Shield, where they're like, as Sword and Shield has gotten a lot of complaints, some of it rightfully so. But what a lot of the people that have stuck with the games are saying is like, this is some of the best post game that a Pokemon game ever has, partially because they can keep updating it. They can make new events for the Dynamax raids. They've made DLC rather than a third iteration of the game, which some people liked better. And, every month you're like, "Oh, try to get this Pokemon who's appearing in Dynamax raids," and then you can get with friends to do them. So, maybe they're just saying content won't stop coming to Sword and Shield. Like, we're still dedicated to that game and what we're offering it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think Arceus has me the most excited about a Pokemon game I've been in a long time. Um, I was gonna say something else and now I forgot.
It's all good.
Yeah.
There it is.
Honestly, along that, yeah. For me, probably the last time I got that excited was the Gen 3 remakes. So getting this excited for a Pokemon game is awesome, especially being the one, at least in all of our thoughts, the one that we've wanted since we were kids.
Yeah, not like the exact same thing we've always wanted because this has added a lot more of like, oh, it's feudal and like it's not the training, but like in more of the gameplay style. It's what we've always
Yes.
wanted. It's how we've always imagined Pokemon.
I stand by the statement that it's a step up. The size of the step up, I don't know yet. I think it's a step towards that
Yeah.
direction. I just don't know if it's going to be a
Yeah,
tiny little step, or even if it's going to be a misstep, or if it's going to be a giant leap forward. I will
and
say that before I forget, I'm gonna forget
uh,
again. I'm sorry. The one thing that bummed me out a little bit was like you're a surveyor or whatever, and like I already kind of knew that because it's like you're making the first Pokédex, so this could be on me, like from my expectations for the game. That kind of bummed me out a little bit, and I think it's just because of the idea I had last time we talked about this. If you guys remember, I said it would be super freaking cool if at the end you create the first Pokemon gym. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
how cool would that be if like the ending is you forming your gym and your squad of
Mhm.
6 or whatever? But again, I think that's on me. I think that's too ambitious at this point. That could be down the road or something. That could just be a,
yeah.
a fever dream also as well. It
Oh,
just
yeah,
sounds really
because
cool.
it's
Go ahead.
because this region, it's a completely different region name than Sinnoh. So
Yeah, but like geographically, it's
Yeah, it eventually
exactly.
becomes Sinnoh. Yeah.
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 Um, you making the first gym would be an interesting choice. I could see them being like, oh, somebody now made this thing called a gym, and people maybe half the town thinks he's crazy, but they ask you to try it. But I know you guys said you didn't play Sun and Moon.
I
That's
did,
kind of the
yeah.
story of well, that's kind of the story in Sun
Yeah.
and Moon, where they don't have gyms, they have trials, you have more than 8 of them, and then the end is the professor goes, "I've established the first Elite Four in this region," and then
Hmm.
when you
Yep.
go, there's no champion, you're the first champion.
Yeah, so maybe it's not the first gym, maybe it's their first gym. Kinda like a
Yeah.
similar thing.
Yeah.
Which with you already saying Sun and Moon already kinda did that, that kinda bums
Sun
me
and
out.
Moon did that more with the league than the gyms, and it wasn't a
They're
historical
yeah,
thing, it was a historical thing for that area, so, like, if you're
for
talking, like, the
Alola.
first gym in Pokemon history, like, I could see it,
Hmm, sure.
just seems like something they've already kinda done in some ways.
But yeah, they were more just getting the groundwork for the league started, not necessarily like, hey, this is a place where like basically making a dojo in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, that'd be
stoked.
cool. Pokemon dojo. There we go.
Stoked.
So, one of the things that interests me about Arceus is that, like, it's a side game that has the closest mechanics to a mainline game. Because I can't remember if I was saying this earlier in the podcast or in the pre-show before we started recording. Mystery Dungeon is just a dungeon crawler with Pokemon. Rangers is just a different way to play Pokemon. Snap is you take pictures of Pokemon. Conquest is just a different way to fight Pokemon. This one is like you're still going around, you're still battling. There isn't the 8 gyms, and there's this more open world. So it's, I've never played any of the other side games that I've mentioned. I've played them, but I've never played them thinking, oh, this is a mechanic that's going to go into the next game. This one has the potential
Mhm.
to do that, where something here actually it becomes a permanent thing in future Pokemon games.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they would just add another branch where it'd be like Legends something else, and then they'd have their and that would be a spin-off game, but it would still be like a major selling point for them. Like where
Yes.
the mainline games would
Mhm.
be the Pokemon we know, they have the spin-off games, and then they have the Legends games, if that makes
Well,
sense.
I'm also talking more like, let's say Gen 9, it's back to the formula of 8 gyms in Elite Four and
Mhm.
some criminal organization run by, idiots. But you have the open world gameplay of Legends, or you have the battle mechanics of Legends, etc., like something like that.
I mean, I agree with you. I just feel like the name is a hint, you know? Pokemon Legends:
Oh,
a
yeah.
Pokemon, and where it's so easy to just continue
Yeah,
that cycle in that franchise.
if they do
Pokemon
it, yeah.
Legends,
Mhm.
whatever, you know?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that's true too, especially if they go and they just kinda give you the legend of every generation, like, give us the original story of the 3 beasts in Johto, give us the story of Groudon and
Celebi.
Kyogre
Yeah.
fighting in Hoenn, like, or Celebi, yeah. Like, they could easily do it. At this point, I don't know, like, what series Pokemon's sticking with and what they aren't, because I mean, I know it's only been at this point, it's gonna be 3, but, like, we don't know if there's ever gonna be another Let's Go or if Let's Go was a one-time thing.
I love Let's Go. The more I think about Let's
Yeah.
Go, the more I really, really enjoy that game.
Yeah. Let's Go was fun. Let's Go was definitely fun. So I'm just reminiscing as well.
Mhm.
Are these our closing thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing else to say. The only other thing they announced was the special Switch Lite.
Oh yeah, I was like, it's the exact same design of the DS. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will say that like my get hype moment, because I think I also mentioned last time I talked about this that time travel might be involved, and that would be like at the very end, like the credits will go right, and then you get a scene of just Celebi flying across the screen, right? And you're
Well,
like, oh shit, like that would be a good highlight. And then the next Pokemon Legends is Celebi. I think that would be super freaking cool. But that's also just me.
so there have been other people that have like, well, so you don't even need Celebi. Dialga, one of the it's
Legends, yeah.
the legendary from Diamond that's on the box art. That's the Pokemon that's like the control of time.
Mhm.
Then Palkia space. So it's a whole space and time thing. We do know that there's a whole wormhole. We do know that this is obviously about Arceus, given the name. A lot of people went, what if the remakes look like that? Because at some point in Legends, you get sent to real, future, actual Sinnoh. Like, even for just like one part of a story.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like a whole wild thing that people made up to convince themselves that they're going to see Sinnoh in like
could just be a
better
post credit
graphics.
too.
But I mean, it's not out of the
Mhm.
realm given the Pokemon that we're dealing with here.
I also just like Celebi. So
Mhm. What if
Yeah.
it's, like a second region of sorts where you go into the
Oh,
future?
you know what? I think I
like a
just
different region.
hold
No,
up.
like,
I
it's
think I
just it's Sinnoh, like, but in, like, the Legends graphics.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
see. I just realized something. So you guys haven't played Gen 4. The whole backstory of the creation trio, which is what they call Arceus, Palkia, and Dialga,
Mhm.
God, space, times. There's also a fourth one, Giratina, which is kind of the Pokemon devil. Like they don't hide the
Yep.
fact it was a friend of Arceus who did something that pissed him off, so he banished him to his own special realm, and he has literally what does he have? He has 6 spikes, 6 things on his wings, and 6 legs. So, like, there's a whole
Yep.
666 going on with his
Sounds
design.
like Satan. Sounds like Satan. Checks out. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically is.
What if the Pokemon going berserk are his doing, and we're gonna actually watch the events of Arceus sending him into the other world?
That'd be
Which I think a
cool.
lot of people have already assumed it's gonna deal with that story, but that might explain the Pokemon attacking you part and
Mhm.
the red eyes. It might be because he's a
Yeah.
ghost Pokemon, maybe he's possessing them.
This is dope. This is a good idea. I also just really want Celebi to be there or in the
February
next game.
28th, 2022. I'm going back to this video, seeing if I'm right.
100%. Would be
Alright.
dope.
But yeah,
Well,
that's
alright, guys.
that's
Yep.
Giratina.
6 yeah, 6 things, 6 spikes, 6 other ribs things.
Oh, I've seen this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Well, guys, this has been Waypoint Discusses the Pokemon Presents. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Smell food.